episode of Married at First Sight. Today I will be covering episode 13. And today's guest, she's back. It's
Yay!
Amy from Little Miss Recap. Hi, Amy.
Hey girl, how are you?
I am good. I am excited to have you back. Remember, you invited yourself saying we need to figure out if it
I
we
will invite myself all the time because I am a huge MAFS fan, but as you know, I'm not covering the season.
Yes.
So I'm really looking for places to exert my rage
Yes.
about what's happening. Yeah.
You used the right word. It's rage. It's like they found a way to get rage and entertaining in the same thing. So I'm glad it's
hmm
just not rage because that would be a lot.
It's probably a better season than we've had in the last couple seasons.
Agreed.
Yeah,
So,
it's pretty good.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Me too.
All right. Before we get into the episode, because there's a lot to talk about, let me share some things that I found online about the past participants.
Oh, fun.
So,
Okay.
someone dug in, and guys, allegedly, all caps, listen to me now, allegedly. And they searched for Ikechi's educator license in Chicago,
Ugh.
and they were not able to find anything. They found three in Texas because we know he's from Houston, but they were
Mhm.
all expired. But he has an
Hmm.
active barber license.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I don't know if I'd let him near me with a straight razor, but okay.
so I don't know how true this is because I think I had a guest who thought maybe he moved for the show. Not exactly like moved, but I'm like, okay, does this give credence to that theory? Because
Right, because he's not registering in
yeah,
Chicago.
yeah.
Um, I wonder, would his Texas license transfer? I don't know how that works. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's
Hmm.
been blaming the kids for a lot of things, so he better be educating kids somewhere. So
Yeah, I guess.
maybe that's why he's carrying his backpack, his clippers.
He could be teaching at a private school
Wouldn't he
where
still need a
it's
license?
I don't know. In Pennsylvania, you can get an emergency license, which is
Okay.
granted. And I
Okay.
don't know what the registration process for that is, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, listeners, the task is up to you because you guys always set me straight. So if anyone has any more information, let me know.
Yeah, let us know.
Okay. Deanna and Greg, one of our successful couples, they are shutting down their clothing line, which is kind of sad.
They had a clothing line?
Yeah, they were doing like t-shirts and things like that,
Oh,
and
okay. All
maybe
right.
it wasn't yielding anything, and they had to shut it down.
Okay.
Noi is coming up with a skincare series. I think not long ago she said she was coming up with a skincare line. I don't know what happened with that, but
Mm.
now she's coming up with a skincare series. I don't know if it's going to be Instagram or YouTube for those who are Noi fans. Look out for that, I guess.
Remember those 5 minutes when she was Noi Moi?
Absolutely. I
Uh,
do remember that. In interesting news on this season, Alan, and this is from MAFS fan, who I always quote as our trusted MAFS journalist,
yeah,
um,
love her.
was a model on a local TV station. Like
Oh,
he's like in like a cowboy outfit. I don't know what he was modeling, but he came out on daytime TV, daytime Chicago, and he was
okay.
modeling for them.
Okay.
Um, Beth from the Charlotte season, she was gonna ask me anything, and someone asked who she keeps in touch with, and she says that she keeps in touch with some of them, and one time Stasha let her cry in the middle of Sir restaurant. Besides the Vanderpump crossover, it was just kind of nice. Last week, I talked about Jamie sharing about her mastitis, and she hashtagged it be able to breastfeed in public or something like that, and I didn't get the correlation. So thank you to Feministing and Dev Sade 87 for setting me straight that it's an infection in the milk duct. I don't have kids, so I didn't know. Well,
Mhm.
even if it
Is
does,
this
you should have
Jamie
kids.
Otis we're talking about?
Of course.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course it
she
is.
took us to the doctor's office. She shared
Ugh.
everything and all that. So I found out the correlation is that it's an infection that you can get when you go too long without breastfeeding. So
Oh,
that's the correlation. Because I was like, why is she saying breastfeed in public while she's at the doctor's? I didn't get it, but
yeah.
yeah, so that's where it came from. And yeah, I think that's all I had for all the past mass participants. They've been quiet for a long time. So that's it. Now, getting to maps, and before we get to the episode, I am surprising Amy with this. She has no idea I'm doing
Oh,
this, but it's inspired by a post you had a long time ago. It was like it's a fuck, Mary kill. It had Cody
oh,
that was involved in that. So I have three sets for you. but they're all
Okay.
MAFS husbands, and
Okay.
you're gonna tell me who stands where.
Okay. I have to write them down. Now this is
Okay.
a fuck, marry, kill. Okay.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. Go ahead.
So the first is Chris
From
Ikechi.
from Atlanta, Chris?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
God.
Chris Ikechi and Orion.
Oh, Jesus. There was a brief moment where I actually liked Orion for like the first 5 minutes
Mm-hmm.
of his season. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
good Lord.
It's an impossible situation.
Can I just choose jumping out a window? Okay, let's start with the kill and work backwards. So
Okay.
who do I need to rid the planet of?
Okay.
I think Chris. I think he causes the most damage.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So he's being killed. So now I have to sleep with one of these men and marry the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I am going to marry a KG because I think he will ignore me. He will probably live in his own house and he'll be running around. And we're both writers, so I can kind of deal with his insufferableness more than other people. So that leaves me banging Orion. I think I could do that. I could get there. With one bottle of sweet, sweet white wine, I
Yeah.
could get there.
Okay.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
think I agree with you in marrying Ikechi out of these three because Orion would drive me nuts and
Ugh.
Chris, I would just jump out the window. But I'll switch it up. I would fuck
Okay.
Chris only because he's just kind of crazy. It feels like it might be good. And if that's all we're doing,
He's
that's
probably
good.
good. Hmm.
I would have said Ikechi because Ikechi is who I find the most attractive. But honestly, Ikechi gives me small dick energy. So I don't want to
Yeah.
participate in that.
I
So
think Chris is very attractive, which is part of the problem.
really, you kind
Yeah, I do.
yeah,
I think
my
he's
eyes
a
just
good
fell out.
looking guy. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's fair. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
no, he's just I wouldn't be able to get past his past, but we can bang it out.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Orion, I just can't stand Orion. Like,
Orion is terrible.
oh man, he's bad.
Mhm.
And if I'm no, not him. Okay,
Yeah, he's real bad.
second, we are
Oh,
going season 17.
okay, go ahead.
Cameron,
Ugh.
Brennan, and Austin.
Ugh. Ugh. Okay, I'm killing Brennan.
Ooh,
Done.
okay,
Removing him from the world.
okay,
I'm gonna bang Cameron and I'm gonna marry Austin.
okay.
Yeah.
Let's switch again. I'll marry Austin and
Mhm.
then I'll bang Brennan because again,
Oh.
just seems evil. So it seems he'll do that right. Cameron, I can't trust on that. So yeah, so that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Okay, and the final one is from this current season between
Mhm.
Juan,
Mm.
Alan, and David.
Okay. Juan, I'm just gonna bang because he has the emotional depth of like a snail. I can't with that guy. He knows nothing about feelings or emotions. So I'm just gonna bang him. Get it
Okay.
over with. Um over Alan and David. You know what? I think I would actually marry Alan. I
Okay.
hate to kill David because
I
he didn't do
know.
anything to me.
I
But
know.
as we see, he's kind of a liar.
Yes.
And that's a turn off for me, a big turn off.
Yes.
Despite how poorly she has treated him,
Yes. Yes.
he's
Agreed.
still a liar. I
Yes.
don't like that. Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
again, like I said, you had 19 days. Just hold off. Like
Yeah.
that's all you
Yeah.
had to do.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. So I wouldn't change a
Mhm.
thing.
Good.
10 over 10.
Perfect.
Okay, that's it. Wasn't that
Yay!
hard? Okay, so now we're going to talk about the episode and what did you feel about this episode in general?
So I was very excited when I received the screener of this episode because
Mm-hmm.
from the episode description,
Mm-hmm.
I thought this is it. And I even messaged you. I
Mm-hmm.
said, this is the
Mm-hmm.
one we've been waiting for. And I'm so excited that I get to talk to you about it. What did we get? The last 30 seconds?
Yeah.
We got something. And then in the previews, we certainly got something.
Yeah. They've been teasing us with these previews, and it's so hard to detect when is it going to be. But it looks like maybe next week is the one because it's the
I think
retreat.
it's I think it's gonna be next
It's
week.
going to be next
Yeah.
week. So,
I mean, in this episode, we
mhm.
discover he is lying.
Yes.
But in the previews for next episode, Michelle says, I believe that text was for Madison and
Yes.
says it right to Madison.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I want to know how they got there. They've been laying eggs for us. They've been, focusing more on her and then saying, oh,
Mm-hmm.
Madison and I went to the bar. But how did we
Mm-hmm.
get to the point where she's flat out saying, Madison, you bitch, I think it's you? So
Yeah, yeah.
so it should
And
be
I
fun.
love these. They're millennials, right?
Yeah.
Or
This is the
oh,
oldest cast. So
they're probably millennials. I don't think they're
yes,
Gen Xers.
yes, they're millennials, on the older side. Yes.
I really find it so refreshing how, like, they just call people out. They're not conflict avoidant like me.
No. They're-
Like, I would be like, "Oh my god, Carla, come here. Can you whisper in Madison's ear that I think it's her?" Like, Michelle's just like, "I think it's you and you're fucking my husband." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa."
Michelle has an out. Like, did you see the layup? She
Oh,
waited till they were in the car.
yes.
He didn't even know the message was sent. And then when
Yep.
they were supposed to read the letters to their younger self, she's like, "Hey, we're not done." And
Oh,
then,
I disagree. I think he knew that message went through,
ah,
and this was the best he could come up with.
it,
And how
even
about his
worse.
cousin selling him under, like, just throwing him right under the bus?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, what would you do in that situation? Because I can be right or die and stuff like that, but on national TV, I don't know. Would I lie for my
I
family?
would. I would.
Ah.
Here's what I would say. I would say nothing. I would be like, "I don't even know what you're talking about. I'll talk to you later." Like, I would just stay out of it or not answer my phone because again, I'm conflict avoidant.
I'm not, but I'm thinking what I would do. I'm wondering like if I'll pick up, but I'll be like, no, I don't want to be part of this. It's on TV and I don't want to be part of
Mhm.
it. Or
Yeah.
I'll just be like, did you send him food? And then put my fingers, cross my fingers behind my back. She didn't say
Mm.
what day. So yes, I did send him food.
It's true.
Then think
True.
of when I went to Chinatown and say the food that I sent. And
Yeah.
nobody asked me a date. And that would be
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's wild. I just wouldn't answer my phone.
Okay, let's dive into the episode. We're told that there's 19 days until decision day, and it's MM and Ikechi still having a ruse of this relationship that should have died many deaths like 2 weeks ago. And they meet up at an ice cream place, and MM is reiterating that Ike has to date her, but she's back to calling him her husband. Because we ended last week with her saying, I went too fast, I don't want to say it, but she's saying my husband. And I'm like, oh, what changed?
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Why are we doing this?
Contracts.
Like, if you have 2 people and you have 19 days left to decide whether or not you wanna stay married,
Yeah.
and you literally cannot even have an ice cream date without
Mhm.
fighting,
Mhm.
what are we trying to accomplish here? The answer is no.
Yeah. They're not living together. He can't even
No.
look her in the eye when he
No.
talks.
He hates her and she hates him. Why are we doing this? Ugh.
Yes, I don't know. Everyone's hurting, including us. So
Yeah, yeah.
he claims that he's looking forward to seeing where this goes. And then, ironically, I say that because he asked her, what brings you joy? And to my knowledge, this is his complaint about her. If she asks, how are you doing today? Why are you asking me so many questions? Why do you care how I feel? So, why is he asking her what brings her joy?
Yeah.
But she's grateful and she answers like a regular, normal human being without being belligerent. And then she says, what makes you happy? He says, I'm seeing my niece next week. And I'm like, look how easy it is to respond to a question, Ikechi.
But you're right, he's not even looking at her.
No, he's not.
He's looking past her, around her, up in the sky, down on the ground. He's doing everything he can not to look at her.
And they're in close proximity. They're like on the
Yeah.
table bench or whatever that's not far apart. And it's just awkward. So MM just hints, I would love to see your mom. And he skips
Mm.
right past that and is like,
Yeah,
I
no.
could text you in the morning and see how you're doing and text you at night.
Like, that's what I'm saying. We are so far down this road where they literally cannot even they have to agree on a text message.
Mm, mm,
Why
mm.
are we here? I have a better relationship with my, like, ex-husband. Why are we here?
I
This is so weird.
I know, and the funny part is if it was the beginning of the season or something, I could be like, okay, they need more couples, they need content,
Mhm.
but we're
Mhm.
towards the end, like you said. So what is the point? And they clearly hate each other, like.
We have enough content with the swap coming up that we don't
Mm-hmm.
even need this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
It is very weird. She says she would love that. And this man whips out a deck of cards and she notices that his ring is not with him. And he's like, yeah. Ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes If you're a woman, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living rent free in our environment right now. In our food, our water, the air we breathe, the clothes we wear, our skincare, and they all mess with our hormones. Then there's the natural hormonal changes our bodies go through. There's perimenopause, there's menopause, whew, it's a lot. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean we don't suffer through it. But I have good news for you. We don't have to suffer through any of this anymore because now we have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Happy Mammoth, the company that created Hormone Harmony, is dedicated to making women's lives easier, and that means using only science backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code AltarCallMAFS at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code AltarCallMAFS, that's AltarCallMAFS, for 15% off today. I took it off during dishes and all that. It's a lie.
Okay. He's a better liar than David, I'll give him that.
Yes, everyone is.
He wasn't David would have been like, I take it off to bang my cousin, and I forgot to put it back on."
Honestly, the more I think about that lie, I call her baby. I would eat her up. I'm like, David, stop talking. Just stop.
I mean, I have some cousins I'm close to, but
I don't like
it's
that.
kinda weird.
MM tells us that she thinks it's disrespectful, and him going to homecoming by himself because he is going to Houston is already an indicator, and she has all the answers she needs, and I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, Camille and Thomas, they're still trucking. There's really nothing. They're much more comfortable with each other because I can't remember if it was you the last time we were here where I was like, they look nice, but they still seem awkward around each other.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
now they seem like more comfortable and closer. And she just hints that she appreciates that he's a gentleman, but she doesn't want it to translate to their sex life and they can spice it up. Basically, she wants to be smacked, grabbed, and bent like a pretzel.
Yeah, this sex conversation later is like, "Whoa, okay." Because he's like, "I basically need more blowjobs." I'm like, "Oh my god, okay." On
Yeah.
television, here we go.
Yeah, this is reason number, I keep adding to this, 572, that I cannot do this show because you have to
Yeah.
remember not only Dr. Pia, all the crew that's behind them, and all the people, and then all their family and all that. So, like,
Mhm.
good for you guys.
But you know what it tells me? It tells me that they're doing it right.
Yes.
They're
No pun
having
intended.
vulnerable Right, right. They're having vulnerable conversations,
Mm-hmm.
they're talking about the right things.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. I
Yeah,
love him.
he's great. They're
Yeah.
compatible
Yeah.
because they can put up with when he was slow and then he's a gentleman and he can wait. So it's great. Once they're fully comfortable, the sky's the limit for them.
Yeah, I agree.
So they're great. The girls meet up. They're meeting at a yoga studio, and the running joke is Camille really does love her matching set, and she came in another matching set. It was cute. It was cute.
Yes.
And the guys are also meeting up. Since Ikechi took a boxing class last week, all the guys are meeting up to box and get their aggressions out. Ikechi's in Houston, so he's not here. I don't know why, Amy, but David's little tank top just pissed me off for no damn reason. Whatever that thing was, I'm just like, why are you wearing this? And I don't know if it's because of the
Yeah.
lie, the cheating, but I was just annoyed by
All of the lying has just affected him, so he's, like, so busy trying to keep all his lies straight that he's just throwing on whatever's there.
it. um, we have decided that Carla knows that Juan doesn't want her, so she's just on the show and using the time to promo her business. So as far as I'm concerned, this was a business promo. So she leads them in the sound bath class as they juxtapose that with the guys boxing. So
Can we of course, this show does that all the time. They do it on Love Is Blind too.
mhm,
Remember last season, the guys for their, like, bachelor party went to, like, a hockey game or
mhm,
basketball game, and
yeah.
the girls went to, like, a sleepover with little tents. Whatever. Um, can we drill down on why Juan doesn't want Carla? Like, what is happening here? She is a gorgeous woman.
I think that he was turned off by her. I mean, He's
Her
turned up by
$8
her being like,
coffees
oh,
or whatever?
I think like the way she navigates life, like money is what did she say it was?
It's like
It's
energy and stuff like that.
energy. Oh, I quit my job. We're not working together. And he's so structured. I say that, but I'm also hesitant because when they do interact, he's like, it doesn't matter. Everyone live life the way they want to. But it's either that or he has someone. And I say someone because there's a preview where Dr. Pierre is saying something, something sexual interaction. And I'm like, if it's
Mm.
not Carla, is it somebody else?
Yeah, that could be. I also feel like it's did you watch Succession?
Yes.
It's like the Logan Roy effect. I feel like he doesn't think she's a serious person,
Yes.
which is pretty much what you're saying.
Yes.
And he doesn't find that attractive. But you know what, too? Keep speaking of the Moys, I feel like he is the poor man's Steve Moy. Like, how dare you think you're an entrepreneur and doing all these things?
Yeah. He
But I don't know. I don't understand why he's not attracted to her. At least a little bit. He's giving her nothing. I mean, it's like Arrested Development, Anne, how they talk about George Michael's girlfriend Anne, like her and who? And like he just treats her like she's not even there. He has said that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I forgot you were there.
Yeah, like giving her
It's weird.
nothing, not even like a hug or
Yeah,
anything.
she's not somebody who just blends in with her surroundings. She is a gorgeous woman.
I just think maybe it's something we're not privy to. Maybe it's personal. It's kind of like Eris. We
Maybe.
don't know why, and we'll never know why he was never attracted to Jasmine. Well, he told
Yeah.
her, but we'll never
Yeah.
know. So maybe it's something like that that he can never say. But
Maybe. Yeah.
yes, it is very surprising because you see them on paper, and honestly, I was
They're a smoke show together.
for
Yeah.
sure that this was it. The experts did good. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
So weird.
It's unfortunate. I
Mhm.
think it's very unfortunate. The guy said they haven't heard from Ikechi, which continues this season where I feel like they don't talk to each other. I don't even know if they like each other. They
Mm-mm.
say they hang out, but it's not like the other seasons where they really love each other in the
Yeah, they
other
don't like him.
seasons. And then I can't remember who it was. They made a quip and was like, I mean, it's not like he was going to share much anyways, even if he was here. So shares with the girls that, he's moved out, his ring being off, and the hard questions are what got him verbally aggressive with her. So she doesn't want to say anything anymore. Michelle says marriage stuff is for the birds, and Camille's face is like, can't relate. I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, I'm good. She shares the text, and the camera and myself zoom into Madison's face, laughing so hard. I'm like, does
Okay.
she look guilty?
If it turns out that Madison is the recipient of these texts and that she is having an affair with David, this was diabolical. Like, she did not seem guilty in any
Anyway.
way. She sat there and she listened to Michelle talk about it and
Hmm.
showed no remorse and showed no awkwardness. Like, she just, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that would be very scary. And then was even the
Yeah.
first to offer advice to her.
Mm,
And I'm like, okay, I really hope it wasn't you and it hadn't started, but I do think it
mhm.
has. But that was scary and
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah.
David shares his story with the guys, still sticking to his story that it was his cousin. And now I'm confused because last week on After Party, Juan said he had no idea about
Yeah.
this and he never told him anything. And I'm like, so, but we're seeing him tell you, so you knew. But who knows? Michelle does bring up the stuff that he was hanging out with Madison and Alan, and apparently Carla was there with them. And then in a what's it called? For foreshadowing, Carla's like, yeah, like did Michelle is like, did you see him on his phone a lot? And Carla's like, no, he was helping Madison look for her phone.
Yep.
Oi,
Yep.
oi,
She
oi.
basically says they were off somewhere together.
Ah!
Ooh.
Oh my
And
god.
again, Madison, stone face.
Hmm.
Like no indication that she is the guilty party here.
I will say, after she was helping you look for your phone, she did look a little and she's like, oh, yeah, when my phone was practically stolen. I'm like, by who?
Yeah,
Weren't you
it didn't
guys
make
in
sense.
the, yeah. And I
Mm-mm.
was just like, oof, this better be a good reveal. Like, I would hate for this
Mhm.
build up and we're just like, oh, it's
I
nothing.
need tables flipped. I need kicks and punches. Like, I need to see a big old brawl on MAFS.
Yeah, oh, Madison's advice was like, "Oh, don't lash out, be soft, and just say tell me." And Carla's like, "The truth always comes out." And I'm like,
Mm.
"Yes, it does, baby girl. Yes, it does." um, so they're meeting with Pascal now. Do you notice that Pascal is always very complimentary of the ladies? I mean, it doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying. Like, it's like, you look nice, you look beautiful, you look
Yeah,
great.
Pastor Cal and I have a complicated relationship.
Ooh, what is
He's
the?
very misogynistic,
Oh
in
yeah,
my
he is.
opinion.
He is.
Yeah, and I have a real problem with that.
he,
So,
he.
whenever he is kind to the women in a non-misogyny type style,
Yeah.
I'm happy for it.
Yes, we will take it where we can get it. So she shares the text because we have learned now Michelle is obsessive. She's now left the whole thing about the living and the lifestyle, and this text is going to be her life's mission, even if it kills her.
'Cause it's her way out.
Yeah, it is her way
Mhm,
out. So she
mhm.
tells him, and Pascal is like, that sounds weird. And she goes, yeah. And then she goes, oh, my parents got divorced because of infidelity. So it's a trigger. And Pascal's like, does he know this? She's like, no, he doesn't. I mean, they don't talk. And I don't know if I believe it's a trigger. Can you be triggered when it's somebody you don't care for?
That's the thing. He has inadvertently given Michelle all the ammunition she needs
Oh.
to leave this relationship the good guy, and it makes me sick because we know that she's not. And I'm not suggesting that she drove him into Madison's arms. I don't believe that.
Hmm.
He is fully accountable for whatever has happened here. But
Yeah.
like, girl, you don't care. You don't care. So
Yeah.
just be like, I got my walking papers. I'm free. I'm leaving.
Exactly. So I don't know if I appreciated her saying, "Oh, it was a trigger." I'm not trying to minimize it. I just
Right.
again, can you be triggered when you don't care about this
I
person?
mean, who's not triggered by infidelity, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's expected.
yeah.
So David comes in, and they also haven't talked since their last conversation, which was about the text. So David comes in his best Ikechi, which by that I mean defensive. And
Mhm.
he says, like, yeah, he sent it to her. She didn't respond. I didn't say anything. Like, if she wants to bring it up, sure. But I thought in the car ride, he was like, he didn't know she got it because he immediately deleted it. But David is full of lies, and David's story is hard to follow. He was saving for a house. Now he's not saving for a house. So who knows
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
gives him?
He's a tough one to pin down. It reminds me of who was, oh God, it may have even been Atlanta. Was it Michael who said he was like a principal and then he
DC.
wasn't and then things were changing? It was
He
weird.
was DC, the pathological liar. I don't even, that
Yeah.
was, I said that was like a medical condition for him because his made
Yeah.
no sense. You invite
Yeah.
someone to yoga class and you're the cleaner there and you say, I'm an instructor. Like, why?
Yeah. It's so weird.
So, you know, it's SOS when Pascal takes off his glasses. So he's taking off
Oh,
his
yeah.
glasses at
And he
this
leans
time.
forward.
Yes, he did. And Pascal tells her to tell him why it bothers her. She says the infidelity, that's where you lost it. And I'm like, ugh, stop feigning hurt. You're not hurt. You're filled with glee, like, yes, I have an out, and your ego is bruised. That's all.
Yeah. Her
And
ego's bruised. That's a good way to put it.
yeah. So he says the women he met up with are in relationships, so he means nothing. Shares that he still has the app. And I'm like, David, do you know the words that are coming out your mouth at this point? Again, stop talking.
So, two things. Either, actually, no. I think what's happening here is that David is not used to lying. I don't think he's a liar in his life. Like, I just really don't. I think he's a pretty authentic, genuine guy.
Okay.
And so, like, he's making a total fucking mess of this because he doesn't know how to navigate these waters. And he's not good at it.
That's fair. I think she also said he's an oversharer, and I think that's a problem. A combination of not being able to lie and being an oversharer. Because why do
Yeah.
you think an expert and your wife want to know that you still have a Tinder app and that you're still going on dates? Like, who needs to know that? Like, why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't help the situation. So
No.
Michelle is like, what else is going on? And Pascal is like, I feel like you're hiding something. And
Mm.
he says, I don't have the text, it's deleted. I'll have to tell my cousin to send it to me again. The marriage has been tough. And she says, but you said the honesty is a turn on. I'm like, not that kind of honesty where you're being mean and
Right.
insulting him every day.
Right. Yeah.
So Pascal says like, okay, the fact that she's looking for a resolution means that the door is not closed. And good on David for saying, is that true? Because Pascal, that's some bullshit right there.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, "You want nothing to do with me. Why are we pretending?"
She didn't quite answer. She's like, I still show up. And
Yeah, no.
not
Mm.
enough. Pascal says, well, what we've learned is that you guys aren't talking. I'm like, no shit,
Yeah,
Sherlock.
they're not they don't even I don't even know if they still have each other's numbers.
Yeah. But
He texts her and it shows up green because he's blocked in her phone.
it's just, how does David have time to hang out with everyone else when we were told that he works the second shift and he's never around? They don't see each other.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
oh Lord, this is way too much that's going on. But Pascal tells them, what you guys need to do is communicate. They have 17 days to go. It's done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's done. Let's call it.
Oh. Michelle says, well, how do we solve the text message? Because that's all she wants. And Pascal is like, you're not a pushover. Like, you can call his cousin, you know where she is. But I think that's what I was going to say was the right thing. But you shared what you would do, conflict avoidant, not pick up.
Yes, yes.
But it is weird to reach out to his cousin. Like, I just, do you watch Southern Charm?
No.
Okay. One husband thought like somebody else had some, his wife did something, and they called the man and said, did anything happen between you and my wife? And I'm like, does nobody think that's weird? Like, that's weird.
Well, this is kind of like I watch a lot of true crime
Uh-huh.
and I watch a lot of cold cases. So it's
Okay.
like detectives who were trying to solve cases in the 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they always talk about is like, well, so and so had an alibi. He said he was home with his parents and they confirmed that alibi. So
Mm-hmm.
he's off the suspect list. I'm like, "What?
Mm-hmm.
What?"
Yeah, that's
Like
weak.
no parent is going to be like, I don't know. I think my kid was out murdering. I'm not sure. He was not here." So I don't understand this taking people at their word kind of thing. We
That's
need we
true.
need proof.
That's true. You just reminded me of
Mhm.
the, what's the documentary, Gabby Petito, that's coming out
Yeah,
with
that's
the
coming out.
parents. Yeah,
Yeah.
and all that. But that's true. So yeah. And after they leave, Pascal talks to himself and is like, there's really nothing I could have said to them. And Michelle is like, he's lying. They talk outside, and David says, like, you don't care. So I don't want to bring her in. There's nothing there. Michelle is like, I care now.
Mm.
And he's like,
Mhm.
this is a project for her to solve. And Michelle describes him as defensive, combative, and is he really a fuckboy that's texting other women? And she's like, it doesn't matter. Denise is gonna cover for him anyways. So
Mm.
why is she going through all these lengths? I've settled on
Yeah.
ego, but honestly, for his ego, I'm like, you know what? This just confirms what I think. So go ye be free. But
I
why
think Michelle
bother?
has a keen cuz I don't think she's dumb. I think she's real smart. And I think she has a keen understanding that she looks like a horrible person here. And she's like, I have this breadcrumb and I have to use this to my advantage to get out of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thought that I kind of had, real stretch. Through the conversations, I wonder if producers kind of knew something was brewing with Madison and David, because it was so random where she was just like, I think he sent that text to someone and then started going further. And then next week, when she's going to be like, oh, it's going to be Madison. And I'm wondering, and sometimes they ask them the questions, if the
Yeah.
questions led her to start thinking and it just went through there. And that, there was a scene with her friend, and her friend was like, do you
Maybe.
think it's for someone else? And I'm just wondering
Oh.
if there
Yeah.
was some kind of leading, gentle, mild leading towards that. Because, yeah.
There are some kind of conversations happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Carla whispering to her like they disappeared for a
Whisper.
long time when
Mhm,
I was with them,
mhm.
or maybe it's I don't know, like somebody just being like there's a lot of chemistry between these two. Or maybe she's
Mm,
just noticing herself because it's not very subtle. They're going to the gym all the time together. I would be like,
mhm.
what's going on here? You know that Madison is not into Alan, so
Yeah,
that's not working.
yeah.
I don't know.
And Alan also said, when he was giving examples of how she reacts to other people, he specifically said David.
Yeah.
So, and then I think thinking back, Carla saying the truth always comes out. Like, maybe she knows something and it's just like, I'm staying out of it, but it's gonna come out. That's
Yeah.
why I'm really curious to see how she got to Madison next week.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Well, Carla and Juan. Juan is so nervous to see Dr. Pia. I'm not gonna comment on champagne and wine glasses. It's the best they could do in the apartment.
Sure.
Juan said they still don't feel like a married couple, despite all the food. He says that we are working towards that because Dr. Pia asked, do you feel like a married couple after you met her parents? And she asked how the parents were, and Juan started talking about all the food that
Mhm.
he was
Yeah.
fed.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this guy has the emotional depth of like an ant. Like, I don't know what is going on here.
He's a mystery because one minute I'm convinced and I'm like, no, Juan is, evolved. He said he did all this work. He went to
I know.
therapy.
I know,
Left
it's
the
so
party. He's
weird.
grateful. But then the next minute he's just like,
And it's almost like he doesn't pick up on like social cues
cues.
or something.
Hmm.
It's weird.
He's in his own world. Basically, what I
Yeah.
expected from Carla is what I'm getting from Juan, actually.
Yeah, and it's I don't mean to imply like he's not awkward. It's just he says the thing you don't expect. And you're like, what are you talking about, dude?"
I do think he's a little awkward. I'm just thinking
Yeah,
about the
maybe.
whole
Maybe it is.
nervousness, the whole tantric yoga, he just kept, how some people just keep talking when they're
Yeah.
nervous, and he just kept going, oh, we could do that. Oh, we can do that. Oh, I like this one. Oh, I want this. And I'm like, he's hiding something. I think that's where but what it is, we don't know him. So we
He's
don't
hiding a
know
body. That's it.
what the thing is. So
Do
yeah.
we think he's the one banging someone else?
Oh,
We pretty much
I think
we
so.
pretty much know that it's Madison and Michelle that switch, right?
Well, I don't know it. I don't know the actual scenario. I'm always asking for clarity. Is there like a full couple swap and the cheating?
That's what I
Or
need to know too. Right.
yeah, so I never know and I'm never quite sure. But if there is someone sleeping with somebody else, I would say it's Juan because he's trying his best. And from the very beginning, he made it clear that I don't want to sleep with her.
Mm.
So he said, I want to take it slow. And I'm like, you're married. Like, what are we slowing things down for? So
Yeah.
either that
I
or
don't
they've been having sex and they're not telling us because again, the other mystery to me is Carla just saying, like, you know what? I'm gonna take it to my parents. Why?
Yeah. Yeah. That could
Why?
be.
So
Mhm.
those are my two things, but I'm really looking forward to the reunion because what everyone is scared to ask or Keisha's scared to ask, Kevin does not give a damn. He
Yeah.
will be
True.
asking. So
Yeah.
I hope that happens and we get answers. Okay.
Mhm.
So Dr. Pierre brings up Carla's social media, says there's a picture of you and a man, your tongues are out, and is Juan okay with it? How are we feeling about wherever this conversation was going?
I thought it was weird. I thought it was weird. I didn't understand what he was talking I don't know. They have so many bigger issues. Like, let's go back to square one. Why do you two not even want to touch each other? Don't worry about the social media. We're
Yeah,
not into that yet.
yeah,
Why do you not even want to touch each other? You're two very objectively hot people. On paper, this should work.
yeah.
What's going on?
Exactly. I didn't like the vibe like we were pushing something on Carla when, like
Mhm.
you just said to me, the problem is Juan. If Juan was DTF today, Carla is on it. She's following
I
his
agree.
lead. So
I
whatever
agree.
you're doing, and now you're trying to say, oh, she's being flirty. Like it's that whole slight misogyny that MAFS
Mhm.
sometimes has. Where it's
Mhm.
like, oh, you're doing this, you're disrespecting your husband. Has Juan come to you and said, oh, it's a problem. So why are we picking at that thread trying to make it a problem?
That's a really good point. Yeah, it's Carla is definitely being more emotionally authentic. Like, she is
Hmm.
showing up a little bit more. Juan
Hmm.
is giving her nothing that we're
Hmm.
seeing.
There's a block
Yeah,
that he's not
it's
going.
weird.
I mean, she had to resort to talking business with him last week just to get him going.
That got them all hot and bothered too.
um, but I liked how Juan handled it. Juan is like, I mean, I can't remember the name of the friend, and he was like, if I could, I mean, I would bang him too. Like,
Yeah,
Dr. P
yeah,
is like, so you guys want to bang everybody else but each other. That was funny
yeah,
to me.
pretty much.
So Dr. Pia says you guys seem carefree and flirty. And what I'm going to suggest is a tantric yoga session. And Carla is so excited and Juan not so much. But one last thing was Dr. Pia says, when you do this, it's going to create a breeding ground for biblical intimacy. Why
What?
that choice of word sex? Just say that three
Yeah,
letters.
yeah,
Like the
it was
biblical
weird.
intimacy. I had to rewind it, and I'm like, yeah,
Are
she
they
did say.
both 2 very religious people? I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Like, she's spiritual, but I
Yeah,
don't know if she's that was weird.
maybe she was being cheeky, but I was just wow,
Maybe.
that's so random.
Mhm.
um, Alan and Madison. This seems very minor, Amy, but they knew Dr. Pierre was coming in a few. What on earth could they be making? She was cutting up some fruit and he was cutting up an onion. What is an onion
Oh, I
and a
didn't
fruit?
notice that.
Maybe they used something from previous, but I'm like, your hands are
Could
gonna
it be
smell like onions.
salsa? Because sometimes I'll do a red onion in my salsa, but also do, like, some apple.
It was a yellow onion. And there was no
Oh.
refreshments for
Oh.
Dr. P.S. So maybe they
Oh.
used another scene. But I'm like, onions while you know she's coming? That's kind of strange.
Yeah, that's weird, I
Um,
don't know.
Madison said they had fun with the last game. And Dr. Pierre is basically like, she didn't say this, but she's like, I don't care. I just want to talk about trust and intimacy. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay. Alan says he fully trusts her. And she says a little bit that she trusts him with her vulnerability, but with alcohol, it's uncertainty. That seeing him with alcohol when alcohol is involved, I don't find it attractive. And I'm like, ah, old Madison is back.
yeah.
Not
I
saying
get
he's
that, though, I get that. If you've been in a relationship with an alcoholic or somebody who has a problem with
yeah.
alcohol, yeah, no, no, no. Mm-mm.
See, but in her case, earlier I was saying I wasn't sure why Michelle was triggered, but I understand this, especially when she told
Mm.
her story last week with her mom,
Yep,
acting a fool, and Alan
yep,
has been acting a fool, trying to drive after having a few drinks.
yeah.
So she said she doesn't find that attractive. And Dr. Pia says that she has a gift for them that is called just a tip. And they laugh. And I felt like Madison was doing most of the talking when she was asking about sex.
Do you feel like Madison is trying a little too hard?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm not so sure that Michelle knows how she comes off. Now she does on After Party. It's clear that she
Mhm,
does. But Madison is very aware of how she comes
mhm.
off and is
I
trying
agree.
to, put that in front of, get ahead of it and trying to
Yep.
be nice. Because Michelle, what did I say, is the most on self-aware 38-year-old I've ever met. Like
Yeah,
she's like a
I agree.
20-year-old.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So I wish Alan spoke up more, but she was the one talking about, sex when she's ready, things that she likes. But the funny part was she said, you never know. Alan may rock my world. And Alan is like, not to toot my own horn, but there's a reason people put up with my outlandish behavior. So,
Okay, dude.
I mean, maybe we should change Alan to bang.
Yeah, really.
So, Thomas and Camille, they get Dr. Pia. Well, they all got Dr. Pia. What am I saying? It was the sex
Mhm.
episode. And Camille is in a matching set. And she asked, are you still having sex? And they were like, yes, we are. They're talking about what they enjoy. And she says, I think he enjoyed me initiating. He's saying the things that she likes in the best way he could possibly say it on Lifetime, that he's a giver. His neck hurts. Wink, wink, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it was cute. Like, after all the shenanigans, I'm just like, it's just so nice to watch them.
It was, and I feel like he feels like he's in a safe space to say it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's good for him.
Mm-hmm. He does. And the thing is, for all the, everyone always talks about their traumas, and yes, we all have traumas, our inner child, and it all comes up.
Sure.
He's been through a lot.
He's
And
been through a lot.
for all the, what's the best word? Instability that he's been through, having three moms, finding out how he was
Mhm.
adopted, he could have showed up in a different way. But he's choosing
Yeah.
to show up in the best way possible, and truly appreciative when you think of all the husbands we've had.
Yeah, and this is why I say, like, they're doing it right,
Yeah.
because to do this right, you have to be willing to go there
Yeah.
on camera, and he's willing to do it, even though
Mm-hmm.
it's uncomfortable, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure, and awkward, but he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's into this, and he wants to make it succeed.
Yeah. Camille continues by saying, like, she wants him to take control. She wants him to throw her around. She wants hair pulling. She wants ass
Yeah.
smacking. And I'm
Her
like,
too, like, being very brave and open.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Camille, Uncle Keon is gonna see this. Her uncle is really cute. So,
Oh.
Thomas is like, his face, he doesn't talk much, but his face is basically like, challenge accepted.
Yeah.
So then Dr. P asks him, "What would you like?" And he's like, again, best way possible for Lifetime. He just wants some down under action as well, like
Yeah.
reciprocate. And she says that for her, it's an emotional connection. So she has to have that before she does that. I'm like, Camille, I love you, girl, but it's enough for him to give it to you, but not enough for you to do
Yeah,
it. But
it's pretty intimate when you're getting it too.
she doesn't need an emotional connection. But you know what? Again, I'm here for Camille's rights and wrongs. Do you, girl? Get yours.
I agree.
Dr. Pia says she's sending them a basket, and we see that has moved back into her home and is like, there's no peace in her home, and she doesn't know when she's going back because he's not around anyways. So,
Mm.
someone mentioned that there should be something in their contract where they shouldn't be able to go to their homes.
I long for the days when they used to move into each other's houses.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's this shared space and
Yeah.
it's dumb.
You can't be fully into it if you're, oh, I'm staying home. I need to wake up early. I need to do that. That's the
Yeah.
indicator that this is a no on decision day. So, um, honestly, I find Juan and Carla boring.
I do too.
They're so boring that,
I don't feel like they're being like she's being more authentic than
yeah.
he is, but I don't know. I don't find them compelling.
They're so boring that they're talking about poop.
Yeah.
And she's like, I never do it here. And I'm like, what? I guess she has to go somewhere else. And I'm like, oof.
Where do you go to like the McDonald's down the road? Like where are you going to take a dump?
The
So weird.
lobby downstairs in the apartment. Again, they're so boring that we have to watch them Google what tantric sex is. Juan finds something, and honestly, I don't think he Googled tantric sex because everything they're doing and the things that he's saying that he can do are the ones where they're pulling away from each other.
Mhm.
Not anything that makes them look into their eyes or puts their body close. I feel like he
Right.
Googled yoga position or something. I don't know. And he keeps
Yoga
saying,
for the guy who's not really invested.
for dummies too. And he's like, "Oh, I can do this. Oh, it's not so bad. I can do this," which shows how nervous. Like, why are you so nervous
Yeah.
about having any kind of intimacy with her?
I think he's nervous because this is a space that's her world and he doesn't know how he'll show up in her world.
He's
Like this is very out of his comfort zone, I think, especially doing it on TV.
He seems pretty open though. I just feel, I mean, that could be a possibility, but I just feel like even she's complaining, like, no hug, no hand holding. Like, he
Mhm.
seems like absolutely not a boundary that I don't want to. I do remember earlier in the season, he did say that if he got closer, he can see it happen. So is it
Okay.
where he doesn't want to at all? There's no desire, or he's scared that there could be a desire and he just doesn't want to do it because he knows he's going to say no?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, they're
I don't know.
overthinking it.
I just think he's honestly, he is an enigma and I can't figure him out in any way. He's literally like there's a block. I don't
Yes,
know.
in all ways, yes. Um, Michelle and David, Michelle is not staying at the apartment anymore. These two are just a bunch of unserious people that I'm tired
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Madison and Allison get their basket. Alan says he hates dirty talk. And one of the questions was, what do you do after sex? Not expecting this, Alan says, jump in the shower. And my
Mm.
first thought was that episode of Sex in the City. Did you watch that? Where the Miranda dated a guy that had Catholic guilt. So every
Oh,
time they had sex,
yes.
he jumped
Yes.
in the shower, and I'm like, Alan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're just gonna be like, get off me, like, bye. I'm running in and
Mm.
jumping into the shower.
Yeah, like, do you wanna lay down for 10 minutes maybe?
What else did they talk about? They talk about the easiest way to get an orgasm. Madison's talking. She says being on top. And then by the end of the game, Madison is like, you know what? I think there could be sexual compatibility. And then Alan, what's that trend? Had to say something stupid.
Yeah.
Alan said, when I first met you, he made assumptions about her. He thought she was superficial and she preferred. The minute you say, this is not a good word, this is not exactly what I mean, abort mission, just don't go ahead with it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he says, transactional sex. And I'm like, wah, wah,
Yeah,
wah.
what on what planet do you
Oof.
I feel like Alan, and I said this around episode 1, like, he is punching above his weight with her,
Hmm.
and he does not know how to get out of his own way. He
Oh,
really doesn't. I think he's a good guy.
yeah,
I just think he's, like, fumbling this. He
yeah,
doesn't know how to treat somebody of what he thinks or he perceives is of her caliber.
yeah.
And I don't know. Like, just be you, Alan. Just be yourself. You're a nice guy. We like you. Just be yourself.
I'm an Allen defender, and I'm wondering
I
from a
like him too.
different point of view, which is worse? Juan with the block or Madison with the, is it even mixed messages? Because I'm showing up, we're doing things as a couple, but it's very clear you're not into me. So I think he's also frustrated. What do you
Mhm.
do with that?
Yeah, what do you do with that? I mean, if he's seeing a side to her that is when the cameras are on, everything is I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm trying. When the cameras are off, she shuts right down. Then
Hmm.
he's frustrated and maybe that's the side he sees of her that maybe this is transactional. And maybe
Yeah.
you are the type of person who only cares about your image and the cameras. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good point because I was going to say that she was overreacting. But
Yeah.
let me get through the story and then we'll talk about that. So she asked, "What made you think that I was that superficial?" That was not the general gist of what I got from what he said, but that's what she got out of it. And then he
Mhm.
says he should have clarified that was when I first met you, but he was like, "Oh, when you're at the club, you stick your ass out. Like I get a party girl vibe from you."
Oof. Oof.
And then she says, being called a party girl is a trigger. Yes, she likes to dance and go out. She is a party girl, but she has her shit together. Now, this is my conundrum. She just said, I'm a party girl. Like, why do we give weight to words? Like, yes, I'm a party girl. I know I know what he's saying. He said when I first met you, but just own it. Yes, I'm a party girl. You know who you are. Those are not your intentions. Why, especially for, I feel like she doesn't like him too, but she says I care about you. Why is that holding so much weight knowing that Alan doesn't have malicious intent? He's just bad with words.
I don't know. I think that it's so complex because I feel like she has a lot of shame around this. And she clearly hasn't like owned it or worked through that.
Mhm.
But I think she's trying, and that's why she's saying, like, I am a party girl.
Yeah.
But I think it depends on what do we mean by party girl.
Yeah.
Like, I think she heard Alan said, you like to go out to the club, you like to be a party girl, you like to shake your ass, blah, blah, blah. She heard you're a slut.
Oh.
And I think that there's some slut shaming in it that
Yeah.
I don't think he meant
Yeah.
intentionally, but that is how she's receiving it. And
Okay.
I think she's been shamed in this way before
For
and it
okay.
pressed something in her. And I think, that's something she has to work through and figure it out. But I think that term is very loaded,
Yeah.
especially when talking about two women about women.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I could see myself being a little offended by what he said.
No,
And believe me, I'm not shaking anything in the club. But
no, I can
I'm in bed
understand.
by 9. But I don't know.
I can understand her being offended. Like I say this all the time. I'm a sensitive person, but I always
Mhm.
try to keep it in check. Like when someone says something to me, I'm just like, okay, I'm offended and this. Feelings are not facts. Is it
Mhm.
me? Do I just have to sit with myself, be introspective, or do I need to say something? So
Yeah,
this
what I
is
wanted her to say in that moment was, "It feels like you're slut shaming me."
mm,
And what would he have said to that?
no, 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 no. I didn't mean it that way. Like it was the
Mhm.
wrong word. It was the wrong
Yeah.
word. I just kind of
Yeah.
meant like you enjoy having a good time. And she was like, so now I'm a good time girl. Anyways, but
Yeah. Right. Let's just reenact it.
I think the other part of it. Okay, so Madison came on this show because she hasn't been able to find a partner, and they have said in
Mhm.
the past that she likes pretty girls, which would imply that you're pretty boys. Well, I don't know
Mhm.
if she likes girls, but pretty boys, and which would imply that you're superficial. Now you've been matched with someone who isn't necessarily a pretty boy, and you are not liking them, and do you think she's feeling self conscious that this is confirming, like, maybe I am superficial?
Do you feel like David's a pretty boy?
Oh, you stumped me. Sorry, guys, it's not a glitch. That's me being silent. No, I was thinking about it because, oh, my poor Alan. Compared to Alan, you could see him being a pretty boy. If he took that cockatoo off his head, I mean, he's nice looking.
I could see him
So
out in
yes,
the
he would be
club.
considered like a pretty boy or more her type. I guess is what
Yes,
he
I
would say. So
agree.
yes, so
Yep.
yes, I would say yes. But I mean, the minute we all saw Alan, listen, guys, if anyone wants to be self righteous, the day we saw both of them, all of us were thinking the same thing. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God. So that's why
Yeah.
we were surprised on their wedding day when they
She is
got along.
absolutely stunning. She is
So
absolutely stunning. And Alan is like a slow burn. I think he's a very good looking guy, but
yeah,
he might be one of those guys that the more you get to
you
know
know him.
him,
Yeah.
yeah,
He has really nice eyes. So that's what I was thinking was like, is this confirming? And that's why she's so conflicted. She says she cries every
maybe.
night, not liking him, because it's like, oh my God, is it really me? Am I really that superficial? And she doesn't like that tag associated with her. But I
Yeah,
think her
maybe.
explanation where she says I think that comes out later on because he leaves, he says I'm sorry, all that kind of stuff, that's not how I think about you. And she cries. The producer says, what are you thinking? And she says, I'm frustrated by how people perceive me because I'm not being taken seriously. Nobody thinks I deserve what I have, and he should be the one that defies her, not validates it. And it's not what I want in a marriage. At this point, I thought we were off the rails. He did not say anything about not deserving anything you have. And then now I thought we were spiraling at this
Yeah,
point.
that's again, I cannot get into the head of somebody who is so beautiful that they were just thought of as I'm just so beautiful, I'm not taken seriously. And I do believe that is a legitimate issue. Like I'm not making fun of her. I
Mm-hmm.
just don't I have no understanding of that point of view because
Mm-hmm.
that's not my lived experience. But
Mm-hmm.
I could see a world in which people don't take her seriously because she just like I was doing with Carla.
Yeah.
Like she's just so beautiful. I don't know. Maybe like obviously it hit a button of some type in her and it really brought something up, but
Yeah.
she's got a lot of shame and I don't know why. I don't know what has happened in her past, but
Yeah. I was also curious too. Once this happened, I wanted to know what she looked like before, because a lot of these reality stars, more from like Love Island or whatever, they come in so beautiful, so this, and then we see their past pictures, they look
yeah.
nothing. They've built themselves literally to
Yeah.
be like this. So I wondered if maybe that was the case. That's why she's particular about her hair, her makeup. We rarely see her without makeup
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So I'm wondering if she was one of those people who thought, I think she's even mentioned it, that she thought she was ugly when she was younger, and that's why she got into sports and all that. So maybe
Yeah.
now it's flipped. Now you're on the other side of it and you still have a problem with it. But I think my issue was just, it's she was putting words into Alan's mouth. He didn't
Yeah, I
say she
agree with
didn't
that.
deserve anything. So it's just stuff she has to
Mhm.
unpack by herself and all that stuff. So that was a point where I thought that she was kind of overreacting. But she says she just needs time to get over it. And she tells him, and then she leaves and she tells him, I'm going to go make a call. Remember that, because that call apparently lasts for like 12 hours.
Yeah, she gets home at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah. And then
Ugh.
attempts to gaslight him, but
Yeah,
we'll get
where
there.
was David? Mhm.
Camille and Tom get their basket. It's a Japanese bondage set with ropes, a blindfold. She goes to get an avocado to gag him. I just thought that was pretty creative. I don't think I've ever thought of
Mhm.
using an
Mhm.
avocado. Poor Thomas. He's just willing to go ahead with it, shoves it in his mouth. Camilla's having a great time. They switch up, Amy. He ties her up, and I'm like, should we be watching this?
I
Is this
know. I was like,
Skinamax? What
"Whoa,
is
this is getting
happening?
hot."
I was happy for her though. And then she
Mhm.
was so excited, and I quote, she was like, "Baby, let me find out." Like basically, have you been holding back on me? Like,
Wouldn't it be
okay.
funny if then we had like a love after lockup situation where they throw them out and the producer stands at the door with the camera through the crack and all you hear is like the
The
pounding of the
microphone.
headboard against the bed?
I love that
That's some
show.
love after lockup
I love
shit.
that show. Oh my God. But yes, that's what was going on. But here's the thing. I don't know these people. I don't know what it is, but I do believe that for now, for just knowing each other, they have like she's happy with their sex life, because when
Yeah.
she did announce that they had sex, if it was bad, you would see it on Camille's face. She
Yeah.
can't hide her emotions, but she was like, "Oh, we had sex," and she was so happy and she was smiling. So if they can only go up from here, I am here for
Mhm.
them. They deserve it. They're carrying this season on their back.
I
Well,
agree.
in the love department,
Yeah.
because they also are kind of boring, but boring is good.
Mhm.
um At 12:48 a.m., Alan tells us that Madison went out to make a call and he hasn't heard from her and he's worried. She comes back. She says that, no, she's still talking. She says she's not mad at him. She's just frustrated and disappointed, which she says a lot of times. But I actually think she's mad. Why won't she just say she's mad? Why does she keep saying, I'm not mad? Is that part of the
Again,
control?
I wonder if it goes back to what you said. I wonder if she's just so highly curated and aware of
Mm,
how she looks on television. I
mm.
don't know.
I don't know. She's allowed to be mad. Like, while I think she overreacted, you're allowed to
Mhm.
have feelings sometimes. And of course, we know for sure it's something that happened in the past. It's okay. Just say
Yeah.
you're mad.
Yeah.
Um, calls Dr. Pia from her balcony, gives her an update, tells her he went to Houston. He said he would communicate, didn't communicate. Dr. Pia is like, "Is there any part of you that wants to reach out?" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Thank God."
Thank God. Can we just call this time of death?
Oh,
Time of
12:48.
death, the altar.
And she's like, "I'm not prepared to for whatever reaction he's gonna have." Dr. Pia says that she's disappointed. And all I just kept thinking, because I'm not interested at that with about them anymore, is just,
Mhm.
is it safe where they filmed this? Because there were a lot of indicators that could tell you where lives from where they
Yeah.
were. I could see
Yeah.
signs, I could see things, and I'm like, I don't know.
Was she at her house or was she
Mm-hmm.
at the shared
She
space?
was at her house. She said, "I'm in my
Okay.
home in the balcony," and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
seeing signs that if I Google that, that would tell me where she lives. But
Yikes.
um, they do the tantric yoga. This is one on Carla, and oh god, I mean, the tantric instructor comes in, Diana. This lady, she rolls in lingerie that is so skimpy that they have
I'm like,
to.
"What is happening?"
They were blurring out things down and up. The mic pack has to be strapped to her thigh because there's nowhere else to
So
put it.
strange. Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this was the best we could do in Chicago.
And Juan seems unfazed by this.
I think you just have to act like you don't see nothing
Yeah, I
at this
guess.
point. This woman at some point tells Carla to do the rose. They take a rose and the rubbing it around their body. She
Mhm.
joins Carla to do it for Juan. And I'm getting uncomfortable. I'm like, is this the start of a threesome?
Yeah,
Should you
right,
be
like,
doing
where's this
it?
going? Are we on
Yes.
now on from couple to throuple? What's happening?
So Carla thinks that Juan is warming up now after this, and the tantric lady leaves, and he's like, "Oh, let's do it. Let me do it on you." And I'm like, "Okay, Juan really is warming up." But then they start to do it, and you could tell that he wasn't taking it seriously.
No,
He was
he's
just, I
not
think,
into it.
he's scared of anything that has to do with sex,
Yeah,
and I'm. This is becoming a huger mystery by the second.
yeah. Like, why are you on the show? If you're this blocked, why are you on the show?
Yes. And
Yeah,
is it Carla or is it just you?
right.
Because Keisha asked him an after party, "Okay, you take a long time to warm up. What on average? How long? Like, how long are we
And what
talking
did he
about?"
say to that? I didn't see it.
He said it depends. If he gets comfortable, it could be 1, could be 3 months, something like that.
Mm,
But he didn't really give an answer. So that's
okay,
the thing. It's
got you.
like, are you generally uncomfortable with sex? No one has asked him that, and I really
Mm,
thought Dr. Pia would ask him that this week, because that's what I would
yeah,
ask him.
yeah,
So
you're right.
yeah. So Alan goes to the gym to look for Madison. She says for her, trying to prove herself or her worth has been an issue. And that's
Mhm.
where her hurt was coming from, that she truly isn't mad at him. Using the word transactional was not okay. Alan says, we all have assumptions and stereotypes about each other. You have made some of me. And she stops him and was like what? I was like, don't ask a question if you don't want an answer. She was
True.
like, you thought I was a pushover. And Madison's like, can we stop this for a second? Because you're trying to turn this on me and it's not fair. And I'm like, don't try to gaslight this man. He was trying to make a point that we all made assumptions. And my assumption was on the day that I met you. And now I don't think that anymore. And she completely flipped the
Hmm.
conversation.
Hmm.
You know. So he says, When he feels like he's being judged over and over, he gets over it. So he's frustrated because now he made a mistake and it's not being reciprocated. And once again, he messes it up. He says,
Yeah.
"You're sensitive. You're more sensitive than me. In fact, you're more sensitive than a lot of people that I know."
Okay, stop, Alan. Stop. Do you hear the words coming out of your mouth?
Apparently he doesn't
Oh,
because I was with
Jesus.
him. I was like, "You're making a point," but
Yeah.
we went off
Yeah.
the cliff. He's she's like, "Why are you coming here guns blazing? Are you here to piss me off? Because it's working. I left to make a call." And I was like, he was like, "You left to make a call and I was up till 3:20." And she's like, "Why does it matter?" I'm like, "Madison, come
Yeah, where did she go? Did she
on."
go to well, we know where she went, but, like, where does he think she went?
I mean, Michelle is not in the apartment, you know?
Right?
Yeah, she's staying in her
Right.
home, so free
Yeah.
for all. Although that's risky. What if Michelle just decides I want to come
I
home?
know.
She's not going to tell David.
Unless
So
she went to David's oh, David lives with his parents.
there's no
Maybe
space.
she went to her house and
And then
David
he
came
met
there.
her there.
Yeah.
He said he had. I shouldn't laugh at this, but Alan says he had dreams of the show being turned off, and they made her marry someone else and forced him to watch. And
Yeah,
his
this
heart.
was pretty dramatic.
Oh my god! I was like, you called her sensitive. Your dreams are sensitive, I guess.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
Oh man.
He is not gonna take this well when
No.
it is revealed what's happening.
Oh no, he
We saw
won't.
him, he punches a cabinet. I'm here for
Mhm.
that.
I hope he doesn't break his hand.
Mm-mm.
But he said knowing how much he hurt her brought triggers to the surface, and instead of giving him the benefit of the doubt that she's coming to him like, he did it intentionally. She says, "Well, that sensitivity comes from care. If I didn't give a shit about your words wouldn't mean a thing to me. You need to show a little empathy." And he's like, "I don't show empathy." Then she's like, "I need to take a break." And then she walks out the gym. And honestly, Amy, at this point, I don't know what they're arguing about.
I know, they're exhausting.
They're going in circles because
Yeah.
she's gaslighting him. He's not being sensitive and he's not
Mm-mm.
even listening. And this is her out, I think, because,
Oh, yeah, maybe.
yeah, that comment she made where she said, "I don't think I want this in a marriage," she's laying the
Mhm.
foundation
Yeah, you
for
could
that.
be right.
It's so funny that last week I was like, Madison doesn't cry a lot. And I think she cried a lot this episode. So
Yeah.
there goes that. Alan comes back home, asks Madison as we see his leg bouncing, meaning he's nervous, "Do you know how much I actually care about you?" And she says no. Do we believe
Mm,
that?
no.
I mean, he's
He's been pretty clear.
pretty clear.
Yeah.
So that's not fair to say no. We all know he likes you more than you like him. He tells her, like, "I'm not in love with you, but I love you. I have immense care for you. And a lot of this has been me trying to appease you for us to get there, and it hurts." And he just hasn't been good about letting her know his feelings. Once again, she says, "I'm not mad at you." She just wants to be honest in this relationship because she hasn't been vocal in the past. She
Mm,
claims that she cares, and he says it gives him hope. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do
don't
it.
do it, man.
There's no point.
Don't do it. Don't hope.
So, to wrap up the episode, Michelle calls Denise.
Wow. This was
I'm surprised she has Denise's number because,
yeah, and I mean, she had to have told Denise it's gonna be on camera.
yeah, you need consent.
Yeah.
And she asks about the text message. And mm, Denise doesn't just sell him out. She says, David called me and asked me to cover for him.
I know.
I'm like, why?
She doesn't say, like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. Goodbye, I gotta go." It's like, "David, I'm part of this elaborate lie orchestrated by David, and I'm not participating any further." I was like, "Whoa.
I mean, she didn't have to say anything else. The minute you
Nope."
said David called to cover for me, that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah.
else. And she said yes, she was going to cover for him, but when she found out, she was not going to go with it and she doesn't condone it. So I don't know if David knew. Do you think David knew that the call was going to happen and she was not going to cover?
I don't know. I don't know, but it really speaks to the person you are that your cousin, whom you are presumably close to, will not cover for you.
Mm,
I don't know. I think we have been painting David as a good guy
Yeah.
because he's paired with such a villain,
Yeah.
but I don't know if he's a good guy. Like, again, this is not a good thing he's doing.
Yes.
And just because she was a monster to him doesn't give him the right to do this.
Yes. Absolutely. Completely
And
agree with you.
so I wonder if like this is just another oh David's shenanigans. Do you know what I mean? And his
Mhm.
cousin's like, I can't deal with this guy. He's a player. This is constant. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But she was Denise was exercising girl code in that moment
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
whatever reason.
Girl code or family code, who knows? But
Yeah.
I mean, the first episode, I was one of the people who judged David. Like no facts, no nothing, or just like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
David looks like a fuckboy
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So, and we still don't know what his true personality is.
That's the thing with him. You always feel like he's not who he says he is.
Yeah.
I feel like he's very hard to pin down. I think he has handled himself very well in
Hmm.
comparison to her and
Hmm.
reacting to her.
Hmm.
But what does that mean?
Yes. Who are you
Yeah,
outside of Michelle?
right.
Now, the big question is, do you think him and Denise are still on good terms? Are they talking right now? Would you forgive your cousin?
Um I mean, I actually had a situation like this.
Ooh.
I had a cousin, one of my female cousins that I was kind of close to growing up. Long story short, she told a lie about me and caused me to get beat up and in a fist fight. It was a whole thing. And so we were like, I think I was 15 and I forgave her. Like a couple years later I got over it. It was fine.
Okay.
Whatever. But I wasn't in the wrong. She was
Yeah.
lying about me.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, if I was Denise, I would be like, "Look, if you wanna hold a grudge, that's fine, but I'm not lying on national television for you." Plain simple.
Yeah. I think there's just so many layers. For me, I had a guy friend who was married call me to
Mm,
lie for him. And I was
mhm.
like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
We do not speak anymore. But I
yeah,
was like, I'm not doing that. Like, there are people involved. This is your mess. And I lie for you once, you keep doing it again. So what's the point? So I was like, absolutely not. So
yeah. I've been in that position before, and I always like I said, I always play vague. Like, "Is this person at your house? No. Are they with you? No. Do you know where they are? No."
yeah.
Like, just I don't know. Goodbye. Click. Conflict avoidant.
I just wonder what I would do if it was family. All my family members, please don't let me test that
I
theory.
mean, if it was my kids, I'd be ride or die.
Okay.
Yeah, and if it was my spouse, I'd be ride or die if I had
Yeah.
to lie for him. Hopefully, I wouldn't have to lie for him for
I
banging
was
another woman, but
like, say he sent you a picture from Chinatown.
yeah.
Also, when they ask what food was it, say something. Dumplings, like what you already have
Mhm,
a location. You
mhm,
don't even have. Oh,
mhm.
David, you are so bad at this.
He's bad.
So, anyways, she confirms that there's no picture, and then Michelle is like, "I just want to confirm that you're saying there's no picture." She goes, "Yes," and then she was like, "Well." Her questions have been answered, but now she has moved on to the next step, which is who was it meant for?
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. So, yeah, next week we see that Michelle thinks it's from Madison and she is interrogating her.
And
And
Madison gets up and flees the table.
yep,
It looks good.
it looks really good. So,
Mhm.
all right, Amy, who has your bouquet this week?
So, I think that my bouquet this week is going to go to Pia. I feel like Pia is always doing the Lord's work here.
Hmm.
She's always getting in there with these couples, and I really respect her. I think she gives good advice. I think she gives good exercises. She
Hmm.
doesn't take shit from people, and I don't know, I really like her. She's a girl's girl, and I enjoy Dr. Pia.
Hmm. Cool. Mine is Camille and Thomas.
Yeah.
They made me
Oh,
smile.
was I supposed to pick a couple, or could I
No,
pick
no, it could
Okay,
be anybody.
okay, a
No, it could be
person.
any. You're
Okay.
good. Yeah, they just made me smile. I like when
Yeah.
I don't even realize I'm smiling and I just catch myself and I'm like, oh my God, I'm cheesing. And when she
Mhm.
shoved that avocado and when she said, baby, let me find out, that just had me over. So it looks like up and up for you guys. Love it.
Yeah.
Who has your ashes?
Absolutely, Madison. Because if this is true, and she sat there in that group session and listened to Michelle talk about this, expressionless, that is a level of lying that I've never seen before in my life. I was watching it thinking to myself, wow, how is she doing that? Like, that's real bad.
Before I say my ashes, I do want to give extra credit for a bouquet to Denise. She really didn't have to, but she
She
chose.
didn't. And yeah, it was girl code. She did it.
Yeah. My ashes goes to Dr. Pia.
Ooh.
It
Whoa.
does.
She
I
getting a
was
little too for far in there for your comfort?
no, I was slow to Dr. Pia, but now I appreciate her. Like she was absolutely needed with Brennan, and I
Mhm.
think she does get in the
She
truth.
battled Brennan,
Yes,
remember.
yes. So
Yes.
I'm a Dr. Pia fan now. But this episode is just that little things that kind of grated. Like when MM was talking, and she's like, "Oh, do you want to reach out?" Or you tell Ikechi to do that. Like y'all start putting
Yeah.
stuff on the women, and
Yeah.
then
Good point.
the whole thing with Juan, and she's like, "Oh, Carla, you have suggestive pictures. You were trying to." I just something about that.
I'm gonna hope that we didn't see Juan bring that up and say something about it. Maybe it was cut.
Honestly, I can't even see Juan. Juan doesn't care.
I
Juan
know.
doesn't know what he
I
should
know.
care about.
Do you think Pastor Cal just grabs her in like a little embrace backstage and is like, "Get in there and slut shame these women. Get in there and do it."
Let's have a talk. What should we bring up? What can we talk
Women be
about?
shopping.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because they're so boring. Like, what else are you going to talk about? I just wish you could have asked. Usually scared of intimacy, or even what Keisha asked, like, how long does it take you on average to warm up to
Yeah.
people? Because he
Yeah.
said that he usually leads with sex and blah blah blah. So, like, let's dive deep into what is the problem. Is it a
Yeah,
Carla
what is
thing,
going on
a
here?
stage of life thing, or a you thing? So,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't
Yep.
think she dug as deep as she usually did, but maybe they told her to ease back
Yeah, maybe.
and stuff.
Maybe.
So that's it. Well, Amy, this was fun as always. Love having
This
you
was a,
on
a
here.
blast. I love being here. Thank you for having me, letting me talk about these fools.
Yes. So anytime the door is open for you.
Cool.
Okay. Can you share with people where they can find you and just list like a little bit of all the many things they can find on your podcast?
I do a lot of stuff. So I'm doing my podcast is Little Miss Recap, and we do 90-day Sister Wives. And then we also do like some scripted stuff. We're doing a Mad Men rewatch right now, which, oh my God, we're loving. We're going to be doing Yellow Jackets when that comes back. And we also do documentaries and a lot of true crime.
Nice, nice, nice. So you have a lot to pick from, guys. So check out the podcast. You know where to find me. It's Altacall Maps, ALTARCALLMAFS. That's the handle on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky. If you want to send an email, just add at gmail.com. Please give a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And we'll be back next week to see how we got to Madison.
Yeah, can't wait.
Can't wait. Thanks, Amy.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.